The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. We kick things off, and we got markets slightly in the red after a 3.5-day July 4th weekend. Hope everyone had a nice long weekend out there. A little celebration with some fireworks, and we're back at it with a full trading week. And yeah, we got the S&P's market slightly in the red. But you look at the action in terms of the overnight action on Friday, right out of the gate. Now, futures were open on Friday. And yeah, you were down to as low as 62.80, briefly below there. So you were down 42, 43 points at one point on the S&Ps. They opened Sunday night, and we're right basically where we were. S&Ps down by 0.3%, off 22 points this morning. NASDAQ 100, we're off by 113 points, 0.5% in the red, 22,948. The Dow slightly in the red by about 0.2%, off 85 points, still above 45,000. Right? We talked about it on Thursday. 6,300 in the S&Ps, 23,000 almost in the NASDAQ, 45,000 in the Dow. Russell down 0.7% this morning, $1,600 to the downside on Bitcoin. Yeah, quite a slide for Bitcoin on Friday. You go from about 111,000 to 108. You're trading at 108,785 right now. Crude catching a small bid, up to 67.26, up 25 pennies right now. And yeah, gold continuing to trade lower. Let's jump to yields, the dollar, but gold. So there was Thursday's action on the non-farm payrolls number, and we're right back to where we were, okay? Lower price, higher yields coming at you right now. We're talking about a 10-year that's negative by 3 ticks this morning, 111.04 right now. We jump over to the yield. The 10-year, that's talking about a yield right now of 4.36. Okay, 4.36. We were as low as 4.19. Yeah, ticking a bit. 4.36 right now. We were as low as 4.19 in July. It's July 7th, and we're already up to 4.36. So pay attention. As we know, this market, when it comes to yields, boy, it has rip-roared everywhere. You jump over to the dollar right now. Dollar, yeah, catching a bid. So much for a 96 handle. Just like I mentioned, okay, so you go from 4.19 to 4.36, and yeah, that's lifted the dollar a full point from 96.377. You back it up to the lows of July 1st, and we're pushing above the highs of Wednesday, but nonetheless, 97.392. And yeah, when you have dollar strength, you got a little bit of weakness when it comes to gold. And gold down $25 right now. It's trading at $33.16 right now, off $26. You jump over to silver. Yeah, silver down 1.8%, off 67 pennies at 36.41 this morning. And let's jump to the headline this weekend. So the deadline was looming, and guess what? You got another deadline. August 1st, a few extra weeks, a little bit of an extension from the 90-day reprieve date that was supposed to be set for July 9th. Okay, so now we go to August 1st. Yeah, and that sums it up right there, okay? Whether you're talking about Germany, MERS, it's a complex matrix of factors that need to be taken into account. Nonetheless, you get a 30-day extension. We'll see if the market gets a little bit worried about 30-day extensions at any point, because you think about it, right? Tariffs is supposed to be, it's the fundamental nature that where are you doing business? Are you doing business in China, in India, in Vietnam? And a 30-day rolling basis, that uncertainty just persists. But guess what? We got the market. We're negative by 23 points, folks, but the S&Ps, we were basically at an all-time high outside of the action on Thursday. We're coming right back, folks. We got a lot to talk about. Don't go away. If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Welcome back, folks. So yeah, check it out. CoreWeave, right? This company just going public. They're buying Core Scientific in a $9 billion deal that will allow it to expand its AI data center capacity. It values Core Scientific stock at $20.40 a share, which is almost a 70% premium over where it closed the trading day before. You got a jump when that was reported, that the two companies were already in advanced talks. What is Core Scientific? That's some weird one. We'll have to pull it up. But nonetheless, CoreWeave, man, this thing has been on fire. And they're using some of the equity. So you're going to trade down $8 on that news. Yeah, we jump back to... Let's see, and there's the volatility on that news that they were spending $9 billion, right? You rip from 180 down to 160 on that news. Did it come out earlier from 188? It may have. Nonetheless, volatility. You go back to when this thing goes public. Talk about a rocket ship, man. We jump over CoreWeave right now. I mean, this is where it's remarkable, right? Even at this share price, you're only valued at $76 billion. What were they pushing out CoreWeave's IPO at? Yeah, at the fully diluted market value of this company, okay? And this is where you want to talk about where things can get a little frothy, okay? CoreWeave's IPO is priced at $40 a share. It's trading at $165 as of the close and $157 this morning. It was priced at $40 a share, and they couldn't get it out. Okay, they could not get it out. NVIDIA ended up having to come in with a guaranteed buy that allowed them to push that out. Okay, they sold 37 million shares at $40 a share, getting about $1.5 billion, and giving it, yeah, how many shares are outstanding? Come on. It's not keeping up. How many shares are outstanding? There it is. Okay, 500 million. Yeah, so at $40, the whole company's worth $20 billion. Imagine this, right? Whew, that is remarkable. So they go public, trying to push it out with a $20 billion valuation. Now, that is a far cry from long ago, okay? It's 4 times that. The company is worth $80 billion today, not $20 billion. But, folks, they pushed this out 90 days ago, and they were struggling to push it out at a $20 billion valuation, okay? Now they're buying a company for $9 billion. Their whole IPO sold 37.5 million shares. I just told you there's 500 million shares outstanding. They only sold 37.5 million shares to go public. They get an extraordinary run in valuation, and then they buy a company for $9 billion. Core Scientific is among the Bitcoin miners trying to take advantage of a shortage in data center space. Well, everyone needs that. Man, so this is where it's crazy. They tried to buy this company last year for $1 billion. Well, now that their stock's through the roof, they're going to buy them for $9 billion. Whew. So the deal is going to give CoreWeave access to about 1.3 gigawatts of power from Core Scientific's data center fleet. And yeah, as we talked about recently, man, these gigawatts, everybody's going to know what a gigawatt can do. And a gigawatt can power 750,000 houses. Remember that. 750,000 houses. And this is why. Last week, Bloomberg reported that Oracle and OpenAI struck an agreement for 4.5 gigawatts worth of data center capacity. That is millions and millions of homes that they're going to be using. But yeah, you're talking about, let's see what they even did. Because what is the deal here? You know, they're not going to let me into that one. All right, we'll dig up more of this one, man. Because when you get a stratosphere, you know, this company should be doing that. You're darn right. When you get a valuation, imagine you're in those executive suites. Okay, and I know I'm harping on this, but this is where certain things, folks, it doesn't mean that it can't go on for longer than you anticipate in certain areas. As in, if this is an irrational price, it can stay irrational, okay? The momentum around AI is just on fire right now, on fire. So that is inherently built into all of these equities. The spirit animal, juice to the upside. But yeah, you better watch out when you got a company that can barely push out their shares at $40 a share. You got NVIDIA coming in, guaranteeing a bid. They only sell 37.5 million shares of their 500 million that are in the company. They only raise about $1.5 billion. And meanwhile, 90 days later, the company is worth $80 billion, and they're buying other companies for $10 billion. Now, if they have the right business strategy, there's nothing like leverage to ratchet up the returns. But yeah. and Core Scientific stockholder ownership of the combined company will be less than 10%, is how they're working it. Yeah, it's remarkable, too, on here, where you have a Bloomberg article, okay, not sure who Dana Wollman is. There's so many times, folks, where I read things, and I'm like, number one, the content creation business of AI, okay? But this is a very simple deal. Give me the details here. Is it an all-stock deal? Is it a cash deal? Is it split? It doesn't say the simple stuff. I think it probably is an all-stock deal if they're going to control 10% of the company. You see how little errors, right? This person's a professional writer for one of the best business news organizations out there. And they talk about the deal valued at $9 billion. And then you state that, well, how many shares? What's the details? Give me the details. Is it in the statement? Well, the statement's behind the Bloomberg terminal paywall. And if you don't know, folks, a Bloomberg terminal paywall, it's about $30,000 a year. Yeah. So my guess is that it's going to be a stock deal. They own 10% of the company. And, of course, it's going to be a stock deal when you're pushing out paper at 165 when they were just struggling to push it out at 40. Imagine that you were here, okay, in that executive suite. They were struggling. If you were watching the market, they were struggling to push that out, man. Now they're able to use those shares at $160 a share and buy companies that they were trying to buy a year ago. And here's the last part of these transactions. I heard this a while ago, all right? If a company really loves their acquisition, they'll do it all in cash if they can, because they don't want to leave somebody else with the ownership, right? If you're buying a company and you think you're going to be able to really ramp up the synergistic capabilities, well, you just take all of that company for yourself. If you don't think it as much, you give them a piece of the ownership. So when they're doing it with shares, a little bit different. We'll come back to the open, folks.
Skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got equities open, and you got markets opening slightly in the red with the S&Ps negative by 17 points, but you see a little pop right on that open. Right now, 63.05 NASDAQ 100. We're negative by 100 points, we'll call it. 22,969. The Dow barely in the red by just 0.1%. And you got the Russell leading the way in the red, off by 0.6%. So, you in the market for a third political party? If you are, the richest man in the world has a new party for you. We live in interesting times, folks. So, Elon, jumping over. Yeah, let's see how much we're down right now. Tesla shares down about 7% in the pre-market after Elon says he's launching a political party. Now, there's two sides to it which are remarkable in terms of the bias that he had toward that big, beautiful bill. In terms of the credits that are in that bill for electric vehicles. But then you do look at the dichotomy of Doge and trying to save billions while the party passes a bill that many expect will cost $3.8 trillion, if not more, over 10 years. And where the truth falls between the two of those, it's probably somewhere in between, folks. So I say all the time, truth lies somewhere in between of the two. And yeah, it's probably a combo of them both. Now, critics counter that you can grow the economy into that, and I'm hopeful you can, okay? But the remarkable part is anyway, we know how it goes, right? So expect some volatility if you have the richest man in the world. If you're buying Tesla, okay? I find myself constantly saying, man, can you imagine? Can you imagine if, like, Jamie Dimon came out and said, I'm starting a new political party that's going to overtake Democrats and Republicans? What would happen to a stock like JP Morgan, right? Or if Jamie Dimon came out and accused President Trump of being a pedophile on the Epstein list, right? Some of these exist for Tesla. That's why I'm pointing them out. You're trading right now at a pretty critical area, okay? You break below this area. Look at this. This line was on this chart before today. Where do we open? Right at the line. We're right back into that June 5th acceleration. We're right back there, folks. That was his day. Let me get it back. Can I get it? Yeah, that was the day. Yeah, that was the day. Look where we are, okay? You just traded up to 360. We're back to 291. We are right back to the lows when he was on Twitter calling the president practically a pedophile on the Epstein list. Okay? You tie that into the cars and the story, they're going to have a lot of competition from Waymo and the likes. But yeah, add a political party in that, and hey, listen, I think our country needs a political party. When people fall into one category or the other, right? Everything is divisive on top of it, and the truth is always somewhere in between. I think the middle is a much bigger than the left and the right. Everybody, if you go to extremes, you get coverage. You know what doesn't get coverage, folks? Somebody being a reasonable person online, right? Saying, well, you got to consider both sides. The Democrats have a point here, Republicans have a point there. No, that's not what flies right now. You know what flies? You know what gets likes and interactions? When you go crazy on the left and the right online. It's just that's what happens. That's where you get comments. That's where, people, they troll you for comments or likes. So maybe the middle of the country, and hey, if there's somebody that can do it, it's the richest man in the world. So we'll see what happens, man. But markets this morning picking up a little bit negative, and I say a little. We're under 6,300. There's no steam in this market whatsoever. We're at record prices, folks. Anytime outside of just Thursday's trading. You plow higher into July 4th, you get a little rally, and we're at 6,300. Let's jump around to some of the other Magnificent Seven. Amazon shares, well, they give it a back on the open. We're up to almost 225 right now. We're trading right now, negative by 70 pennies. You jump over to Apple this morning. Look at that, Apple holding on to the gains. Up by almost $1 for Apple shares. You jump over to Meta, slightly in the red, by about $4 from Meta. Google shares this morning, down about 0.4%. Netflix off 0.7%. We jump over to Nvidia shares. Yeah, all the markets, all the big equities right now, slightly in the red. Nvidia off about 0.6%. CoreWeave digesting that deal, down about 4.8% right now. Giving back the gains of Thursday with the market. And yeah, I'd be real skeptical of this stock. And hey, doesn't mean it's not going to trade to 300 over the next 6 months, right? Some of these equities, Palantir is not a CoreWeave, okay? Palantir off $1.20 off 1% right now. All right, let's jump around to some of the other headlines we got going on. And so, yeah, we're talking about we have a new deadline, but then you have the BRICS, okay? And yeah, members of the 10-nation grouping of emerging market economies were reluctant to engage with Trump's warning of additional 10% tariffs as they left their hotels in suddenly rainy Rio de Janeiro for the concluding day of the BRICS summit. They're only going to talk after the summit. Yeah. And Trump has responded to slap an additional 10% levy on any country aligning themselves with the anti-American policies of BRICS. Excuse me. It's all a negotiation. And yeah, not a coincidence that they're all together. The 10 BRICS members on Monday, plus a representative of Saudi Arabia, which continues. Yeah. And it is about the dollar to a certain degree. Let's jump over to that dollar. We keep our eye. All right, shopping around where we began. We check back in on yields. Yeah. Right back to the lows of that move on Thursday on a very strong jobs number. You got two things working on the rate sector right now. You have, number one, that they've put out indications that, yeah, they're probably coming with cuts, right? Chairman Powell said that they think they have the room in terms of they are probably restrictive and they probably have room to cut. He wants to see the data on the summer, but it's pretty remarkable when you have unemployment at 4.2, and on the jobs number, you were supposed to go up to 4.3, and you actually have unemployment going down to 4.1. So imagine you have 140,000 plus jobs added, unemployment going down to 4.1%, and you're telling me that the Fed needs to cut? Why? Well, because we've been lower. We're usually lower over the last 20 years. That's the only conceivable realistic, but that doesn't make sense. We just went down on unemployment. So I'm like, man, is this market really going to rip roar and discover that, hey, guess what? We may be magnificently wrong on yields. Now, with that in mind, though, Chairman Powell is out in 10 months. A new chairman or chairwoman is getting nominated in the next 6 months. Keep that in mind as this rate saga plays out, that no matter what Chairman Powell wants to do, you're going to have a new chair that's nominated for the Fed within the next 6 months, and they'll take the helm within the next 10 months. Nonetheless, rates up today. S&P's off 21. We're coming right back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&Ps negative by 20 points, just chopping around that 6,300 price point. We catch a little bit of a lift by a few points in the last few minutes, and we jump around to some of the home builders. So, you back things up. Look at the acceleration we got when you had the 10-year drop to 4.19%. Okay, that was on July 1st. I almost said June. July 1st. 6 days ago, we had the 10-year at 4.19. We're now sitting at 4.36. You get a little bit of a bid, you give it up again. That's KB Homes. Jump over to Lennar, same exact situation. You get that bid on July 1st, you give it all back from 118 back to 109. DR Horton, you see the move, not giving it all back, but very rate dependent, okay? Not a coincidence that the home builders got a bid, so watch those yields, watch the home builders. They've all built quite a base here from that pullback. From 200 on DR Horton, you've been basing around this 130 area for some time. This is a weekly. You break lower around the tariffs. Okay, check out the last 2 weeks of volume. Check out the volume last week when we only had 3.5 trading days. Okay, that's DR Horton. Okay, yeah, we had 3.5 trading days, but you did 5+ million. Yeah, on Monday, 4+ and 3+, all big days. So you have some volume here on the bottom. That's DR Horton. You jump over to Lennar. On a weekly basis, different story, right? I just showed you. So there's Lennar. DR Horton, look at the difference. Number one, it looks like you're catching a bid off the bottom, okay? You have strength here in volume. So if you're looking at some of the home builders, okay, there's DR Horton, there's Lennar. Now, DR Horton, size-wise for these equities, okay? DR Horton and, come on, load for me. and Lennar are much bigger companies than KB Homes. No, not loading for me right now. All right, there we go. So D.R. Horton is a $40 billion company. Lennar, come on. Man, my system's slow right now. Can't load any of the data. I think that's Thinkorswim. Yeah, it probably is. Okay, and then you have KBH, which is a smaller company. Okay, every time, right as I'm about to change. Yeah, you have Lennar at $29 billion. Okay, so D.R. Horton's at $40 billion, right? Lennar, $29 billion. And KBH is on this much smaller side. But D.R. Horton is the biggest one out there, and it looks like they're catching a bid right now. Okay, I'll pull up KBH as well, but check this out. First-time home buyers. This one's from the Journal. Out this morning early. First-time home buyers are MIA. Landlords are the winner. Renter population has hit a record because fewer people can afford to get on the housing ladder. Now, with rate cuts looming, it's going to be interesting to see how this could impact things when especially you talk about first-time home buyers, okay? And yeah, vacancy rates are falling. Where's everyone else going if you're not a first-time home buyer? On average, more than 2 million people a year become first-time home buyers, okay? Look at this number going all the way back to 2004. Now, realistically, you have population growth. So, in theory, that number should be increasing, not just staying the same, right? We can't have 2 million first-time home buyers year after year after year as the population grows over decades. But look at the drop-off since COVID, and who can blame them, right? Prices skyrocketed, mortgage rates skyrocketed. You combine the two, and you have a problem when it comes to interest rates, payments. Now, I was playing with a mortgage calculator. So, taking a look, I mean, simple numbers here, okay? A home price of $450,000. If you can put down 90 grand, okay? But man, putting down 100 grand to then max yourself out on a payment. So let's say you're just putting down 5%, okay? And you got a 6.8% mortgage, which is basically what you're at right now, right? You're putting down, what, 25 grand or so, 22.5? Yeah, 22.5. And your mortgage is going to be $427,000. That's a pretty reasonable mortgage. You're paying $4 grand a month. Yeah, that's $48,000 a year after taxes just to pay your mortgage. And that's buying a pretty reasonable $450,000 house. Now, you drop it to 4.8%, and your mortgage goes down by 12%. Now, that's a drastic drop, man. You get this market down to that degree, okay? But it is a drastic drop on a percentage basis where you're talking about $3,400 a month versus $4,000. And even at a number of 5.8, you're dropping it to $3,678 from $3,956. You're going to have two sides of this market. If it opens back up with yields, you're going to have buyers who are coming in, taking advantage of those yields for 30-year mortgages. And then you also are going to have people who are able to sell and free up the equity that they have not had to give up those mortgages. And yeah, that's 1.1 million first-time buyers last year. There's going to be catch-up, right? Put yourself in this role. I mean, I guess if people are going to buy houses. But if you're supposed to get 2.1 million first-time home buyers, well, we get 1.4 in 2022. That means we have a deficit of about 600,000 to 700,000 houses that have to get purchased. 1.5 the next year. That's another 600,000. So call it 1.3, and then 1.1. So that's 2.3 million in makeup just over the last 3 years. So if you get to just the average of maybe 2.1 million, okay? Now these numbers were probably lofty in the housing bubble, right? But let's just say you get to 2 million. And again, these numbers should be going up because of population growth, right? But let's say you get to 2 million You have to make up 2.3. That means, and we're coming into it's already July of 2025. Nothing's eased. I imagine these numbers are going to be very similar for 2025. So imagine if we're ever going to catch up in 1 year, and you won't catch up in 1 year. I don't imagine. But if you were going to say, okay, let's catch up, and this is just to say the recoil in this housing market when you get lower yields, which are coming. Okay, I'm looking at these housing stocks, folks. Take a look at these housing stocks. That's why we're looking at them. Because, to catch up with 2.3 million is what we've lost over those 3 years. We're probably going to lose some this year as well. And then, what are you going to have to do? Then you're going to have that year. You'd have to have a year that's like 4.4 million first-time home buyers. And KBH is only 3.6 billion. I knew they were tiny. So KBH is 1/10 the size of DR Horton. But we'll talk a little bit more housing when we come back, man, because these stocks have gotten clobbered, and those first-time home buyers are going to be somewhere in this market. Stay tuned, folks. We're coming right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Okay, folks, we get the S&Ps off by 16 right now. NASDAQ 100 off by 96. And yeah, jumping back to those home builder stocks because, boy, you talk about it, man. So you got DR Horton. They're one of the largest out there at about a $40 billion. And yeah, we've been building a nice base in the last 2 weeks. That is a nice acceleration. And you look at the daily. okay? You get an acceleration June 23rd, the acceleration on July 1st. And yeah, we're back to 131 right now, but on July 31st, you were as low as 128. So we're still $3 higher right now. And you talk about some of these numbers, man. So they talk about home builders versus landlords, okay? Shareholder returns, while the Pulte Group's up there at 29, but D.R. Horton, 15.8% since March of 2022, beating the S&P even since that time. Now, how about some of these numbers, okay? Lennar had to offer incentives equivalent to 13.3% price discount on its second quarter to entice buyers, the highest rate since 2010. The number of renter households in the U.S., a record 46 million. Yeah. At today's prices, buyers would need to earn $127,000 to afford the monthly mortgage repayments on a median, not even the average, which can be skewed higher. The median priced home up from just $79,000 in 2021. The price appreciation, the cost of a mortgage, only 6 million of the 46 million renters can do that. Barely, what is that, 14%, right? Yeah. And then you get delinquency rates on outstanding balance, student loans going up, makes it even more difficult. Those kick back in. You know, one of the ways that eases is lower yields. We'll see if it happens. And the other article I didn't get a chance to jump to, and maybe we'll talk about it this afternoon. The CME, the floor traders, from a 2014 lawsuit, it's going to a jury trial, saying they got duped out of their floor seats and electronic trading controls everything now. Gotta love it. All right, folks, thanks so much for kicking off your Monday right here. Stay tuned. Basil Chapman's coming up next. I'll see you at 3 o'clock, everybody. Have a great one.